You're plugged in to Acute Mania Live. From Shenton, West Virginia, here's your host, Scott Arnold.
That's me. Here I am again. We're one episode away from 350 of these suckers, and it's crazy. Harold's with me from Canada, and I just forgot the name, but it's right behind me. It's Circle the City. There's just so much stuff to do. I need an assistant. You know what I mean? Like we were talking about. But welcome. It's nice to have you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, okay, so I've had several, I wouldn't say several. I've had some bands, some really good bands from Canada, from all over Canada. I think the last one, they were over in Vancouver, the Haptics, which was also label mates with you.
Correct. Yeah.
Sarnia Records has been throwing me all of these bands, and they're all terrific. Like they're just, and then Metal Ink. You know, Josh Jones has Metal Ink, which is part of Sode. So I get the metal stuff, and I get a very well-rounded assortment of bands.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that Circle the City was sent because, man, this stuff is just like I said, like we were talking about before we went live. It's phenomenal stuff.
Thank you.
You want to tell the folks a little bit about you guys and how you got going? Were you friends all along and things like that?
No, we're still not friends.
Well, they didn't come on the show to help you or anything.
Yeah. The band's been around for, I think this is year 7 minus, I guess if you want to count COVID too. So we've been around for roughly 7 years now. Aside from myself, it's kind of a complete new lineup. We're kind of always changing, I guess. We started out. I was playing in a cover band and just got tired of doing that. And
what kind of cover band?
We were playing cool stuff. Like we were playing Primus, and
nice.
we were doing, like, when we did covers, we tried to do covers we liked that were kind of obscure, that were for fans of bands. We did I guess some top 40 stuff too. I was playing in a cover band, got sick of it, had a bunch of guitar riffs that I wanted to do something with. I forget how I met the drummer. I can't remember if he had a post on like a website or something, or something like that. Anyway, him and I got together. We started working on some material, and then our original bassist, he moved to the area for school, and that's how we met him. And then we found a singer on a website, I think, too. It was just all good timing. And then we we wrote 4 or 5 songs right off the bat, and then started putting them out, and here we are now.
It's the Haptics, when the band from Vancouver I had on a couple months ago. They found a few of their members off of Craigslist.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was still like a thing. I thought it was all like a sexual.
Yeah, it's. I think it probably is. I think it was. We have I don't know if you guys have it in the States, but we have a site called GG.
We have Band Mix. You guys have Band Mix?
We do have Band Mix.
I've never heard of that one. The one.
Yeah, so that's where the current drummer, who's not here with me this evening, Kevin. That's actually where I met him, was on Band Mix. Okay. And I just I was perusing on there and saw some of the influences he had, and I was like, okay, well, I know this guy can play if this is the stuff he's listening to. And so that's a good site. I find the only thing with that one is it's a paid site, so if you want to contact someone, you have to pay, and they probably have to pay to respond. And people don't
I noticed it's I don't know if you've ever been on like Tinder or like any dating sites and stuff, things you have to pay for.
Yeah,
and people just put their Snapchat username in their bio. So that way, if you really want to talk to them, you can get hold of them that way, and you don't have to go around it. But I noticed some people do that in Band Mix too.
So. That's so that's I've used that actually. That's where I met the current drummer. So
it is a cool platform. It's just very, not for everyone, because if you want to really contact somebody, you got to pay. But
Right,
We
right.
did it for a
Yeah.
little while, looking for somebody, and we found one person, but it didn't work out. But it's okay.
Yeah. I don't often hear back from people. I was
Yeah, that's true.
surprised when I heard back then from him.
Yeah.
So
Now the lead singer, um, the female, has she always been in it?
no,
No,
no, we've had oh God,
she's
I've
very good. Very good.
oh yeah. Well, I think there's two songs that I sent you. There's two different singers on those.
Oh, really?
Yeah, those are
Okay.
two different singers.
Okay.
Um, we've I don't know, a singer in this band has been kind of I don't want to say it's
Do
been the
none of you sing?
downfall.
Not like the drummer doesn't
I
sing. Do you
mean,
not sing
no, like no,
that you want to?
when we play live, I do backups, and I don't really want to do that. I just when we record, we try to really layer parts, so and we try to recreate what we did on the recording live,
Yeah.
and so it's kind of important to have those parts. But no, so no, it's we've had many singers actually. I think I don't even know what number we're at now. I've lost count. It's yeah, I don't know. It's a
Well,
band
you
is
found good ones. I mean, it's
oh
not like,
yeah. And surprisingly, they're all from this area, which is crazy because Sarnia, where we're based out of, is I mean, I think it's roughly 75,000, maybe 100,000 if you include a couple little towns around it and whatnot.
what would be a
There's
close? I did look it up. I do some Google Earthing. People that watch the show all the time, I talk about it all the time. But I love to get on there and just look around, especially places I've never been. Like Sarnia, is that how you say it? Sarnia?
yeah, Sarnia, yeah.
But I've never, explored that area. What would be the closest like big city, either Canada or U.S.?
So we are roughly like
It's like
I don't know
Detroit, close by.
Detroit's close by. If you go the American way, it's only 45. We're on a border. We're a border town with
Right.
Port Huron, Michigan, and yeah. So Detroit's 45 minutes if you go the American way. And then London, Ontario would be
Okay.
London
Yeah.
and Windsor are kind of London's about an hour. Windsor's
That's
an
like on
hour.
your way to Toronto, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've had Thunder Bay on twice. Ultimatum
Oh, really?
from Thunder Bay has been on twice, and they're not really around anybody. Like
No, that's a long drive. Ontario's a really big province. You can drive, quite a while, and I think it's I think it's like 27 hours to get out of Ontario if you go up and around.
Oh, if you go through it,
Yeah.
yeah. I did have. I don't know if he's gone viral. I haven't even talked to him, but he's still doing things. He goes by Shockwire on Instagram, and he was on my show like really early, like back in like 21 or something. But he's got like 60,000 followers now, and he just does these short little clips. He's really funny. He's from Peterborough, which is
Oh yeah.
you probably know Peterborough.
Yeah, we just played there about a month ago, actually.
Yeah, that's right. I think
Yeah.
I saw that on something on your
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah,
that's
Peterborough's a nice little place.
Yeah.
Just north of Toronto, actually. So
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of who. Well, I don't want to go through the list. I'll forget somebody, and then somebody will feel bad, and then But
yeah.
yeah. Vancouver is the furthest west. Rat Silo, which is also your label mates.
Mhm.
We scheduled for next Tuesday, but it's not up yet. But I think they're from out that Vancouver.
I think
area.
they're from BC or something too.
Yeah. But I'm it seems like Soday's a sort of a Canadian label, sort of for the majority, right? That's where they're located.
Yeah, they're based out of Montreal,
Yeah.
Quebec. So, well, Sam is anyway.
Yeah.
But Josh, I'm not really sure where he's out of.
He's in Cali. He's in California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I've looked at the roster for Soda several times just because I forget. But just and I try to listen to everybody. It's difficult, I talk to so many people, but it's very well rounded and it's very good. And I've had Josh on the show and from talking to him and stuff, and he's like, there's just so many, and I was like, yeah, but if you go through and listen to them, you can't judge a book by their picture, by its cover, but you can't just look at the picture, you can't just look at the name, you got to listen to it. But when I saw Circle the City, because I did listen to it before, probably a year ago or something, and just the name, I had to judge it by its name because I was like, that's a cool ass name. How did you guys come up with that name?
It's
And why is there two Y's on Apple Music? I need to know that too.
Yeah. Well, it's two Y's on all of our streaming
Should I
platforms.
put another Y up here?
No,
Okay.
I hate the second Y, but it's
Okay.
necessary, I think.
I thought it would be like
So
French or Canadian or something.
no, it's like Bush X when they came to Canada. They put
Okay.
the X in their name. Anyway, to answer your first question, the name is actually from a song by the band called the Mars Volta, who I'm
Oh
a
yeah, I like them.
very big fan of. They have a song called Televators, and it's off their first album, and it's a line in that song, and I really liked the my interpretation of it. So when we were thinking of band names, I shot that out there, and everybody liked it, so we went with it. And then the second question was
Why is there two Y's?
oh, two Y's, yeah. So when we first released the music, and I put everything on, out there on all the social media platforms on all the streaming platforms.
Mhm.
There was another band out of Philadelphia, I believe, called Circle the City. However, prior to, like, once we picked a name and we settled on it, like I did a Google search and I couldn't find it anywhere, but they were on Spotify, and Spotify doesn't, to my knowledge, it doesn't categorize bands by, like, I don't know, a name or what. Like, so if I put it up, they
Apple's
don't.
the same way, yeah.
Yeah, we don't have, like, there's no, like, I guess,
There's
there's
a
no.
separation between the two artists. They're all on the same page.
Yes. So that's what
Yeah.
happened. So
Yeah.
when I put it up, it went under there, and I was like, well, we've already created logos and all this other shit.
Yeah, you don't want to. Are they still active though?
No, they're not.
So you would think that you get seniority since they're not even active anymore. You would think.
I'm not really sure how it works.
Yeah.
We were involved with a manager once who was like, yeah, it's really easy to fix that, and then we never. I don't know.
For him, I'm sure it is easy.
Yeah. So we were just like, all right, let's just tack an extra Y onto it, and then
It's fine though. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought about asking in the email, our email exchanges, but I was like, you know what? It's got to be the whole thing of another name,
Yeah,
and
it's
not
exactly
wanting to
why.
change, and it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But I was struggling with, do I put it up on the board? Do I put it in the announcements? Do I? No, I don't. I don't do that.
It's a question we get all the time.
I'm sure, yeah.
And it's only on streaming platforms that we
Yeah.
have the second Y. Everywhere else, we're just
So you're probably hoping that, like, nobody really notices it, but everybody
no,
notices
but
it.
we do. We
Yes.
played. I remember we played a show. We played a show last year and out of town, and the bartender, when we were doing sound check, she asked what band we were, and then I told her, and she's like, "Why do you guys have second Y?" And then I had to explain the whole story.
And it sucks because you got to explain it again and again.
I know. I should just make a short version story of it somehow, but
I'll make a clip of it, and then I'll make you a collaborator, and then we'll just send it out, and then hopefully they just freaking get it.
We never really explained it. Like, I mean, when we did it, it was never I don't know.
Explain it again real quick. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, we never explained why. It was just like, friends and family, like, we told them first, and then as we kind of grew and people heard about us.
I think people that distribute music through, like, DistroKid and stuff, they understand why without asking. Like, I kind of got it just from because that's the only place I saw it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not even gonna ask because that's good.
Yeah. Well, you did.
Of course, I have to ask on the show so you can explain it to everybody.
Yeah, that's okay though. That's okay.
Yeah, that's and when you look up you get a good name, you think you have a really good name, and then you Google it, and then there's like 50 of them. It's like,
yeah,
and it's like our band struggle with that too. It's just like, what do you? And I like, I was a journalism major in college, and I always did well in English and stuff like that, editing and things. So, like, I knew a lot of big words, but Rob, the guy that was just here, he doesn't like big words because he wants to be able to pronounce it. If somebody says, "Hey, what band are you want?" And so I would always come up with names that you would have to look up to pronounce, or have the computer say it to you, to see you can learn it. But I was like, you just learn it. I can't remember what word it was, but I searched that son of a bitch on Google, and somebody had that name, and I was like, how is that possible?
Yeah.
It was just a
Yeah.
synonym of a regular word, and
Right.
I didn't think anybody would have that, but it was like a band from like Austria or something,
Yeah.
like a techno band.
I think maybe for other bands that are maybe starting out, if anybody's watching this,
Sure.
don't search Google, search Spotify, because
Yeah. Or
that's
Apple
where,
Music or
yeah,
whatever.
or Apple, yeah,
platform.
whatever, one of the streaming platforms.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do. Google is
And then Google it if you want to, just to see if they have any, if there is
Right.
a match.
Yeah.
See if they're any good, and then,
Yeah.
maybe you can talk them out of their name.
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't been active, and we've never received like a cease and desist order.
Does their picture show up on the page, or do you have that set up like that? You know how like on Apple Music you can submit a picture of the band or whatever.
Yeah. No, it's us, because it's now on everything. It's the two Ys, so we're separate.
You took it over.
Yeah,
you have your own separate one then. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
That's
if
what
I don't
I'm
even know if they're on Apple, to be quite honest. I found them on Spotify. I didn't really look on Apple, so
I had a band from Charlotte on a while back, and they're called Imperium, but now they're called something else. They added something to Imperium, so it would be separate. But they didn't even see Apple Music. They didn't see what their page looked like, but I did, and I showed it to them on the stream, and it was like a, I don't know, he was I don't like racial things, but he was like a brown-skinned fellow, Mexican.
Okay.
He looked like a Mexican.
Right.
So I kind of named him Pedro on the show, and I was like, I'll find Pedro and I'll see what he's about. But he went by Imperium, and it was just a picture of this guy that I named Pedro.
Really? Yeah.
On the Imperium page. There's just a bunch of metal music because they were metalheads.
Yeah.
But they changed it to I think it's Lost Imperium now. So now they're separate. But they had no idea that it was on there. They're like, who is that guy? I'm like, I didn't figure it was you, but
Yeah, the conversation of changing the band name has come up because of that, and then also because we've changed.
But then you got to go through the struggle of looking it all up again.
Well, that's just it, and I mean, we're not a big band by any means, but we are at least somewhat established, I guess, and
you're signed too,
right? Yeah, so I don't want to change now. I don't care enough to.
Does Soda help with anything other than announcing your what you're releasing and thing? Because I get the newsletters all the time, and
do they
help with anything like touring?
What was that?
Do they help anything with like touring or anything extra?
You know what? They did at one point. I don't know where that stands anymore. I had a conversation with Sam, who's like the head of the label, and and I think maybe they got burned on something helping someone out. So I don't know if that's something they do anymore. I know it was talked about when we were talking in initial talks with them. I think they do offer like assistance with production if you go through them, but we do everything ourselves except for mixing. I don't like, so I record.
That's tough. Yeah, it's tough.
I record all of our stuff in my house, and then we send it out to be mixed and mastered.
It's amazing how that has kind of, and not really changed the I guess it has changed, because used to everybody went to a studio, but it's so damn expensive, to spend all that time, and bands still do that, but the majority of the guests that I have on do it all themselves, and it sounds phenomenal. And it probably sounds better than. Of course, they send it off to get mixed, but they record everything, and then you can spend more time on your stuff and make have it sound the way you want it to sound, and not have to pay hourly to somebody or
Yeah, it's I think it's both a blessing and a curse, because it's obviously like it's easier to get music out. I think back in the day, labels were like gatekeepers, right?
Sure.
You had to be a really good band and
keep making music too, like just
right. And now anybody can put music out, and that's a good thing. And I mean, there's you gotta filter through. I kind of want to watch what I say. You just what I mean, like
you're covered.
You kind of. I mean, you kind of got to filter through the shit, really. And but the great thing is anybody can put music out. So if it's, if you're just learning how to play and it's something you want to do, you can
like make your own label and release under your own
Absolutely,
name,
yeah,
and not even your band name.
and relatively inexpensive too, right? I mean, an audio interface, a cheap one, is probably a couple $100. I
Yeah,
would think,
give or take.
yeah, you don't. I mean, it is a great thing. How far technology has come, even like with amp modeling and stuff like that.
Right.
Like,
Our
I've
guitar player goes through Reaper and has a billion pedals on there,
yeah,
and that he has to have that sound, through
yeah,
his computer. We have a show coming up, and last show we played, he takes his computer and that's his pedals.
yeah, yeah. It's I mean, I was always a tube amp snob, and then I started buying. I would like check out gear on YouTube and whatnot,
Yeah.
and then I bought some stuff, and I was like, wow, this is actually pretty good. And I've used it more for recording than I do live. I haven't really gone fully digital live yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been thinking about it, but it's a lot of money. Like those like a quad cortex,
Yeah, they're expensive.
those
Yeah.
neurals. Like I think I was looking at one. It was like $2,500, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to. So I don't know. It's technology is great. It's great that anybody can release music. But
Yeah, it is. It is
yeah,
because there's a lot of people that that can't find anybody to play with, and maybe they just play a couple of the instruments. So
yep.
the digital part will cover the other ones.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
there's a we've like I have a program called Superior Drummer, and it's made by a company called Toontrack. And it's cool because like when we record drums, I can also use I can run the drums through that to create some samples that we like
yeah, of
of
course.
whatever. But like there's an option on there where you could put in a guitar riff, and it'll use, I think, like AI essentially to kind of find a drum groove or beat that will match
That's
that.
awesome.
So
It's AI is just crazy. It's
yeah,
nuts.
it's things like that that I think are great for because I mean, you can have a career, like a
Yeah.
career outside of music, and still be really involved in music because there's all these tools to help you now. You know what I
Now,
mean?
when you were getting into recording, were you always savvy with that type of stuff, or did you kind of learn along the way, and you're kind of like, you're good with it now? I mean, was it one of those learning curve things, or did you have experience, you know, at that
I
before?
have no formal training in recording. I was 100% self-taught. And then I was good at, like, I knew how to use a computer. I've always known how to. So I mean, if you kind of know that, then you can kind of figure other shit out depending on how
Yeah, yeah,
serious you want to go. But yeah, it was all kind of just learning as I go. I remember, like, in this band specifically, I can remember the very first recordings I did and how
how was
shitty
it?
it was. Terrible. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Um but then there we were working with a local studio owner in town, and I would just pick his brain about shit when I
Yeah,
go there to track. I'd be like, how'd you do this, and why are you miking that guitar amp like that? And then what I realized shortly after, drums are a separate thing for me. I think is like drums were always the hurdle.
it's tough. Yeah,
Yeah, because
I
there's
hear.
so many microphones, and there's like phasing issues and blah blah blah, all that
And
shit.
like gating, and I think there's a lot of gating, and
Yeah, but the cool thing is with just the process of recording itself is, um, and there might be people that say I'm wrong and say, but there's really no way, there's no wrong way to do something. It's all experimenting, and
yeah, it's
you
only
can.
wrong if you listen to it. It's like, what the hell was that? Then it's
Yeah.
to you, it's
No,
wrong.
one engineer we've worked with, he always says to me that if it sounds good, it is good. So
Yeah,
that's kind of the motto I've had in my head.
I think the well, personally, the downside, and I know it's the same way for Rob too, our guitar player, because he's got a separate side project. It's just instruments, instrumental stuff. But when you're recording yourself and you got it down, you go back and listen to it, and there's always something that you can change,
Oh yeah.
and you'll never
Yeah.
release anything. And like he'll let me hear some stuff that that it's ready to go, And then he goes, but I just don't know about this part. And I'll do the same thing with
Right.
him because I do electronic music on the side.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, he'll be like, just, it's fine. I'm like, yeah, but it just doesn't sound right. He goes, it sounds fine,
Yeah.
But did you find yourself doing that, recording, I mean, even early on at all?
I personally wasn't. I think I'm over eager to release music, and sometimes
I am too, yeah. I can't
it's a
wait.
downfall, right? Like it's just I want to, so like some of our stuff, like some of these riffs have been around forever, and it's just like I just want to get them out. But I think with recording, no matter what, like even if it weren't me doing it and we went to a studio, there's always going to be parts that I think I could have played differently, or like, oh, I should have done this, or blah blah blah. But it's like a recording is like a picture, right? It's a moment in time where, and then
you can always go back and remix.
You can, or you play it different live, and that's what we do.
True. Yeah.
I mean, not everything we play different, but
Do you enjoy playing live or recording the most?
It's a
I don't think I've ever asked anybody that question.
Yeah, it's a different hat. I love playing live because I'm a gear nerd, and I always I think I have really good guitar tone, and I don't brag about my playing because I don't think I'm that good, but I think my guitar tone is fucking fantastic.
That's good. Yeah.
And
I think it is too.
Thank you. And so I really like playing live for a number of reasons. The gear side for one, but like the band's kind of grown in terms of technicality to an extent, and it's always a challenge. Like I like challenging like the band, myself and everybody else to play this stuff live. It's like, well, like, oh, we're actually in the middle of we just tracked drums for 2 songs on the weekend, and the drummer, and I'm actually playing a baritone guitar on it, and it's super heavy, and we go from like a 4/4 in one section to a 9/8 in another section.
Oh man,
like, are we gonna be able to play this live? And I'm like, well, we're gonna have it. We don't play to clicks.
We're not recording it for nothing.
Yeah, we don't play to a click, and we don't play, or sorry, we play to a click for recording, but live we don't play to backing tracks or anything like that. So like the aspect of live is
it's raw, right?
You're it's raw, and you're vulnerable, and anything can happen. And I don't know. I
want to go ahead and play one of the songs. Which one do you want to do first?
I guess maybe Animals. That's our current single. Yeah.
And maybe after this, you can kind of, this is a kind of new question that I'm starting to ask. I don't know why I never did this, ask before, but maybe like the brands of gear that you use. Maybe we can talk about that after.
Sure, yeah.
What do you want to say about this song? What's it about? Things like that. If you want to talk about it.
Yeah, the song is about...
it's about animals. What are you talking about? That's what
it is. It's just lack of communication. There was... When it was written, there was a lot of things happening in my life it was like there was this wall around, and there was no communication, and that's kind of where the lyrics came from on it.
That's good. I like that.
Thank you.
All right, here is Circle the City with Animals, and this is spanking new, so go get it and check out their other stuff, because it's damn good too. But here is Animals.
Everywhere still cause
That's. I mean, it's always different when you listen on cans. You know what I mean? I've been listening to this song for a few weeks, just like in my truck and in here and just on speakers and stuff. And it's growing on me. Like, and even more now because you're hearing things.
Yeah.
It's so good, man. It's like what genre is it? Is it grunge? Because it's grungy at times, and then it's like funky, and then it's but it's just it's Circle the City is what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. I know it's
Great, man.
It's all. Oh, thank you. It's always hard to. I don't know what genre we fall in. You just say we're like kind of prog rock.
Canadian rock.
Canadian. Yeah, there we go.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That song's all over. It kind of started with a bass line. That's in the verse. The drummer wrote actually. Kevin,
Wow.
who's not here. He's a fantastic drummer. Probably one of the best.
Is that live drumming or is that digital there?
No, that's live. Yeah.
That's awesome.
He wrote the bass line. He's like, I have this bass line, and
awesome.
it was kind of a little bit different timed, and he was kind of going for this Latin vibe. And I'm like, oh well, I got this. I was at the time taking some jazz guitar lessons, and I was like, oh, I got this kind of, I don't know, this Brazilian jazz vibe riff I have. So, and then it just built, and actually the guitar verse was I think I went through, I don't know, 7 or 8 different riffs, and I hated every single one of them. And then I was just like, I was listening to one of my favorite Canadian bands, and it was the one song. It was a telly the guy was playing on the song, and it was something super simple, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna try and just keep it simple. And that's when I came up with that riff. That riff was recorded last actually for the verse, but yeah, I don't know what that song is. It's all over the place. It's
yeah, and I've noticed that by going through your stuff is like it's not all. It's not all over the place so much to where you don't know, no identity. That's not what I'm saying. But like, it's just that, you have this ability with who's who's in it
Yeah.
that's everybody's has different interests all over the place, but and they want to put those in one thing. And, I mean, it's hard to explain, kind of, but
Yeah.
but it works, and it
Yeah.
doesn't work for everybody. I've heard
No.
things, but like this, it works because like Brazilian, Latin, whatever it was, and what he had, that just put that together
Yeah.
and just figure it out, and you'll get it. And then you did, and it's a great song.
Thank
That's a
you.
really, I mean, that's a, I don't like to say a radio song anymore because I don't even think anybody listens to the radio. I don't
I
personally.
don't. I don't.
I don't know anybody that close, to me, that other than my dad, but that doesn't count.
Right. Right.
But and he doesn't listen to music; he listens to like talk radio. Anyway,
Yeah.
but that's a song that's like a top 40 song.
Oh well. Thanks.
I
don't.
and I've had a lot of bands on here, but seriously, that is a top 40 song. If I was a radio guy or whatever, the Billboard people, I'd put that on there.
Yeah, we released that song June 22nd, and I think I just started liking it last week, so I appreciate that.
Are you an analytics person? Do you go and look at numbers? I hate doing it.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to, but I do. Yeah.
How's it performing? Is it better than you expected?
No, not really. No, I think mostly, I don't know, because it's a new singer on it. There's that. It's a completely, I think that song specifically is like, I know a lot of our other stuff have, different elements in it, but that one is so far out in left field from everything else we did.
I don't think it is, though. I think it fits with everything.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess in the overall, maybe to someone on the outside,
right?
It does, but I know it's just,
personally,
it was very much inspired by a couple of bands I really like, and then, like I said, the drummer came in with a bass riff, and then
that's crazy.
We just built it off that. Yeah, he's a really good musician. He's a well-rounded musician. He can play guitar, and he plays bass, and he plays drums, and he's fantastic at drums. And he's,
if you could just get him to do like at least another one while he's playing drums, then
I know. Actually, well. So our former bass player lived a couple hours away, so it was hard for him to be at practice and write. Yeah. So Kevin, our drummer, would oftentimes, he'd be like, well, yeah, like he'd be playing a bass line and be like, well, I think I kind of have this in my head. And he'd be playing like kick and snare with his free hand while playing bass. So it was
like a stomp box almost,
yeah, that song is just I don't know, we just kind of threw everything at it. And the guy that's currently sitting in with us right now on bass, his name's Zach Price. He just graduated music school in Toronto, a school called Humber, and that's like Canada's version of Berkeley.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
wow.
He's like a lot of really accomplished musicians have.
So he's a prodigy. Of sorts.
Yeah, like he can play. He's a player. Like he's a player for sure.
He can he can do I know.
Yeah, so this is his second summer sitting in with us. He filled in a couple summers ago with us on a tour, and then he came out again this summer because things weren't working out with our former bass player, and
it's tough keeping it together with like as a band. But we've struggled with that too. Members and things. It's just always been me and Rob. It's our baby, the band stuff, and getting a bass player, and we had to let him go. Our show's August 2nd, but just last week. But we got to fill in, and we always had to struggle to find a drummer. Drummers just like they're nowhere. They're everywhere, but they're nowhere, and they don't want to break away.
I've been lucky where I've only had to have two drummers in the band, and I think like the kind of stuff that we do, whatever it is, it needs to be like a certain type of drummer that's pretty technical.
Just be a drummer,
yeah. Like it's not a guy that's just playing solid 4/4 rock beats. I mean, well, that's
because you guys definitely don't do that.
No, I mean, like the majority of our stuff is probably in 4/4, but there's a lot of other stuff going on the drums anyway.
Right.
That, you need to be able to play.
It's almost that reminded me. It's almost prog rock also, because they say progressive is is more of like it seems like the tempo or the time signature is changing, but it's really not. It's just the way the drums are, sounding. There's a lot of bands that do that now,
Yeah.
and I don't
Yeah.
know how they pull it off. I really don't. I would be lost immediately. You know?
Yeah, you know what? It's I don't know. There's bands I listen to, and I always just think like, how do you write that stuff? Like
That's
whatever it
exactly
is,
what I'd say
right?
too. Hey, write this.
But when you're writing it, you're not. I mean,
You're not
you're
counting
not
it.
really thinking about that. Like I know there's times when there's like songs that like we're writing a song, and I'm like, oh, I really want. This is my vision for it, and it's whatever. But it's outside of that it's just a guitar riff and
Yeah.
then it so that's a lot of our stuff, our older stuff, except for that one there. The majority of them came from just it would be like guitar riffs, and then I would never just send parts of a song, parts of a riff to the guys, because it didn't make sense to me to
Right.
do that, because it was like, well, where's it going or whatever.
It's not fully done. It's just one thing.
Yeah, so I got into this routine of like I would generally have a verse, chorus, bridge, whatever, and then
Just
from
stuff like
there, from there we might change some things around. But it was like the one you mentioned earlier, "Soul on Fire." That's how that
Badass
one.
song. Badass.
Thank you. Yeah, it's still one of my favorite ones to play live, actually, just because it's I don't know, it's kind of all
That
over the
one
place.
and "Ignorance is Bliss" is another favorite of mine.
Yeah, Ignorance is cool. That was there's a band out of California called RX Bandits. That I still really like. They're like a prog ska band, which
Really?
is
What are they
yeah,
called? I'm gonna have to look them up.
RX Bandits.
Just the letters. And
Yeah,
bandits?
yeah. And like their earlier stuff is like punk ska, but then then their later albums it was like prog ska, punk stuff.
I've never heard of that
Well,
that mix.
I mean, I don't know if that's even a genre, but it's pretty
It is
cool
now.
stuff. Yeah. But Ignorance is Bliss kind of came from me listening to a lot of them for like months on end. And that's all that was in my head. So
Well,
it's
let's I don't want to forget about the brands thing, because I just kind of started asking guests like if they want to talk about what brands they use on their
yeah,
instruments.
sure.
If you wanna do that. I see a lot of things behind you too.
Yeah, so that's I don't know
Wow,
what you can see
even more
there.
behind you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's some of my guitar collection. A lot of
Jesus.
my guitars, like the main ones that I use live, which is like a black. Oh, hold on, I'll grab it actually.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. You're good. Yeah. Awesome. Oh, we got a chatter. There's a. I'll wait till he gets back. We
Yeah.
have we have a chatter also, but I'll let you go ahead. with
Okay.
that.
So this one here is this is a Strat, as you can see, or
Mhm.
Strat style guitar.
Almost
It's
looks like cheetah skin or whatever they call it.
it's just Relict.
Mhm.
Yeah, actually this was a super cheap body that I found on like Facebook Marketplace or
Is
something.
that a build? Did you build that?
My buddy did. He was making he made me this neck from scratch, like he carved it himself. And
Wow.
then the body we found, and I told the guy that was working on the body, I was like, I just want you to relic it a little bit. And then when he did, there was this red paint underneath, and then the clear coat natural was under it. I was like, man, that looks sick. So this is the guitar I use. I try to use on everything. But what I learned it's my number one for playing live. But what I learned early on in recording is the stuff you want to use isn't necessarily the stuff that's best to use.
True.
It's
Yeah.
not always the stuff that sounds the best. And so that's kind of why I have a lot of guitars, is more so just tonal options. But Animals specifically, the majority of that song was recorded on a Godin, which is a Canadian brand.
Okay.
And it's
Are those white, or is it just the light reflecting off of those necks? Are some of those white?
no, there's some white guitars there. There's the one bass neck is very like it's, I don't know if it's maple or not, but it's very light. They didn't put any stain on it, but
Nice.
yeah. So
Those are all yours. Those are all or some of yours.
all but one is mine.
So if you were to go, if I would say, go pick up your absolute favorite one, Would it be the one you just showed us, or would you go
Yeah,
pick another one?
it would be that one that I just showed you, and
Yeah.
then this one here. This one is also a
Is that
custom.
greenish,
It's actually like
teal?
a teal. I don't know, sea
I don't like
foam.
that word. Teal is
Yeah,
just a stupid word. It's
yeah.
like
So
yeah.
this one is also this one's like my number two. My buddy made the neck on this. This was a goat end guitar actually, and I love the body on it and the color, and he made me this Ernie Ball. I wanted an Ernie Ball, but I didn't want to pay for one. And he made
Yeah.
me this neck with the Music Man headstock on it.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And anyway, so those are probably my, I don't know.
That's what you pick up. Yeah.
Those are what I pick up. It depends really. It depends what I'm playing, but a lot of the stuff too on that song, Animals. I wanted a heavier tone, so I used a Les Paul on the chorus, and
Gotcha.
then my amps you can kind of see behind me there.
Yeah.
A couple of them anyway. Those are custom amps. They're made in Windsor, Ontario.
Oh, nice. Okay. What's the brand of them?
They're called Phase. It's spelled
All right.
PHAEZ. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Now, what about pedals? Do you have? Is there a certain brand of? I know there's a crap ton of pedals out there, but is there a certain go-to? Like, you know,
not really. No, I like, so if I buy a pedal now, I'll buy like a drive pedal. I don't really buy like effects pedals anymore.
Gotcha.
Mostly because I have a couple of like I have an old Digitech whammy if I need like an octave
Nice.
or a harmonizer. I still have that, and that was like the cover band days playing Rage Against the Machine and stuff like that, and
Oh yeah.
trying to do that Tom Morello shit.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, same. And then and then like delays and stuff. I have a Line 6 HX Effects, which is like a unit.
You know what you're talking about there, yeah.
Yeah, I play with that live, and then if I need like a certain delay or reverb, it generally has it in there. But then there's a lot of plugins you can.
There's more than a lot.
Yeah, so
you know, it's an infinite amount of plugins for any type of instrument you can ever think of.
But the majority of my tones on recordings are strictly just amps. I don't really use.
Yeah.
I mean, like I don't know, unless I'm going for like a Strat kind of sound, like a
Something
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
specific or something exotic that's not.
Yeah. But
I wanted to get to the chatter.
Yeah, no problem.
Kelly Clays, but it's Claeys. Are you familiar, or maybe not?
I don't know. I'm not too sure.
She says, really like Animals. It is different from other songs, but very interesting and still the same soulful type music. I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah, it's weird. That was, I think, the first one, maybe first or second that I wrote the lyrics for. So it's always weird. It was a different perspective because normally in the past we'd have the music and then give it to our singer, and she would write the melody and lyrics. And this time it was different. And so it was. I never knew how I felt about that song, to be quite honest. I like it now. When we released it, I was like, I don't know.
She responded, and there's some latency between us and when she hears it. So I don't know really what she means here, but you might. She says, "No, he wouldn't be." Laugh out loud. So it was just in response to something you just said.
Oh, maybe if I'm familiar with
it. But you
can,
you'd always go back when we're done and watch it. The chat will come up live as she type it. So, sorry we don't get it. Oh wait, she says, when you described what the song was about, was also what I thought connection, thought connection.
Yeah, just about communication.
Kelly, if you didn't hit subscribe, do it now.
Yeah,
I don't like pushing that, but I everybody's like, you have to. I'm like, people know if you're a YouTuber, like if you watch YouTube or know anything about it, and you like what you're watching, just hit it. You don't have to even come back ever. I don't really care.
Yeah, yeah.
I want you to, but
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, one thing I didn't check out, and I don't usually check out until after the guest has been on, is music videos for your songs. Do you have videos that you guys have done, or?
We've never done like a formal music video, you know.
Mhm.
We've done we always try to capture video of us recording or rehearsing or
Like behind the
videos.
scenes things?
Yeah, but like we've never gone and made a music video.
Do you have
Actually,
aspirations?
that's not true. We were going to once. We actually started to once, and then we changed singers, and then, so it didn't happen. That was yeah, very early days of the band. But yeah, we've never done it. I don't know. I don't know, because for a while it, like, I grew up, on music videos.
TRL, damn it! Right?
Yeah, well, in
Well,
Canada we
that
had,
was my grow up. But
yeah, in Canada we had Much Music.
okay, yeah, I've heard of Much Music.
And so like I all obviously knew how important they were, but then like in today's age, or when the band started, I didn't know. I don't think any of us knew if music videos were important then. But now it seems like YouTube is like it's always been a big platform, obviously, but like
Yeah.
for me, I didn't realize, I guess, how important it is to have something on there, even if it's just like a static image with the music behind it. So,
Or a playthrough. A lot of bands do playthroughs too. I love watching those.
do you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, thought about
Especially
doing
drummers. I like to watch the drummers.
Yeah, it's
overhead.
yeah. The only shitty thing about that is, unless you do it on like an electronic kit, is
That's true. Yeah.
setting the drums back up and
exactly on the
yeah.
exactly yeah.
Right.
Exactly on
So
the thing.
we try and get video of us recording, so that if we were gonna do that, we could it's already shot, I suppose. But it's
Now
something.
there's a. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's something we need to get better at.
Well, when, in due time.
Yeah.
Have Sode shoot you a video.
Yeah, should do that.
I tried to get Sam on when we first started, chatting about, doing bands back and forth, and it's mainly Josh. Josh sending me bands, and I said, you think Sam would want to do this weird show that I do? And he's like, yeah, probably, if you can get him, buckled down to a certain time. So he and I started exchanging. He wanted to do it at 9 a.m. I was like, I'm not even like coherent at 9 a.m. So
yeah,
but he's very, he's a busy guy. So
yeah, he is.
maybe one day we'll do it.
Yeah,
We'll have him on here. I think it'd be a fun chat.
it would be, actually. He's in, like, I've talked to him a handful of times. He's I don't know. I think he knows his shit, I guess. So
He's doing something right, because
Yeah.
he's got the label, and he's got a band too.
Yeah.
So that's a lot to juggle.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw in the email, the pre-show email, about the segment that I do called Offstage. It's just a bunch of random questions.
Right. Yeah, I did.
We'll go ahead and listen to was it Disarm Me we were going to listen to?
Yes, Disarm Me.
We'll listen to that, and then we'll do some offstage stuff. And it's just what it's come down to. It was just random questions, just about it. But now it's like would you rather questions, and you have to pick one of them.
Okay.
Some of them are harmless, and some of them are not. Some of them are raunchy, but
Yeah, sure. That's okay.
I did some clean ones with Tom on Tuesday. My buddy Tom from London was on, and we did some cleaner music kind of ones. But I don't know. I've gauged. I like to do this at the end so I can gauge the guest and see what I can get away with.
Right.
I think it'll be all right.
Okay.
But tell the folks a little bit about Disarm Me, and we'll listen to that, and then we'll talk Would You Rather's.
So lyrically, if I had to guess, I think it was written right after a breakup. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was. And musically, I don't know. I just wanted to write a really heavy guitar riff and in a, I don't know, something a little bit more progressive, and it came out to be that in 6/8. Our drummer always says it's our metal song, but it's not metal to me. So
Yeah.
that's it. It's heavy and melodic, and I think it's one of my favorite songs we've written. And yeah,
It's in 6/8, the whole thing.
The whole thing's in 6/8.
I remember you mentioning 9/8 before.
Oh, that's this new one we're writing. Yeah.
See, I was in marching band, so like I know different time signatures, and and things, then it was very easy to get it.
Yeah.
We did some 12, what is it, 12/8, 12/6, something like
Yeah.
that. With, it was just like or one measure, and then you go right back into,
Right.
that stuff. But I can't imagine doing this with like band people and like this kind of band,
Yeah.
That's
It's not, I mean, like, it's not really it's not planned. It's more
Yeah.
of like we write, there's a riff and then it
you
just
probably
so
have to figure it out after the fact, right? Like, what
Yeah,
time
yeah, I don't know the time signature or think of it while writing it. It's our drummer's like, oh, it's this. He's really
That's
good with
awesome.
counting. Yeah. So
That's badass.
yeah.
All right, here's Disarm Me by Circle the City, and Jackie, which is the lady that announced me at the beginning. She is. I'm pretty sure she's real. She's not like an AI. I had a guy on from Dallas. Anyway, from Texas, and he has a internet radio station called Crave Rock,
Okay.
and you can request yourself. Like, you can request Circle the City, and he'll
Oh,
put it in
really?
rotation. He's very into putting on bands like indie bands, and of course he has well-known bands on there too, just to kind of keep it fresh. But yeah, you can. I'll send you some info.
Yeah, for sure.
You can request yourself and be played down in that market and all over the internet also, because that's where he broadcasts to. But when I had him on, I was like, do you think, because Jackie will get on his Instagram and announce what's coming up during the week and stuff. I was like, I need somebody to announce me on the show and, maybe say something about the offstage segment.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, I'll pay for it, but he sent me about 4 tracks of her doing various things, and I just picked them and made samples.
Oh, that's cool.
For free. And I was like, well, now I need her to say different things.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But, yeah. Her name's Jackie. I know that. But, yeah. She'll tell you a little bit about Offstage here, and we'll listen to Disarm Me.
Sounds good.
Unfiltered, unexpected. We're going off stage next.
She needs to change that, and I want to change it. I want to make it livelier.
I can't go
That's yeah. That's yeah. I can see where the metal part. Yeah, in parts, not the
Yeah.
whole thing. Not the whole thing.
No. No. No.
But yes, it's there. But there's so many damn lyrics in there. How does anybody remember those on stage?
Yeah, I
Live?
don't know.
Anybody?
That was our former singer, and she
Man.
she
Well,
was
even the other ones like that too. It's like,
yeah, she was fantastic at like she was a great lyricist and she wrote great melodies. I actually think she was probably one of the best that we've had do that.
that's
Yeah, she was awesome.
And the bass player's got work to do on that song too. I could tell. There's a lot of. I could hear a lot of good bass in there. You know, a lot of things happening.
Yeah,
I can feel the swing of 6/8 also. You know.
yeah. It's pretty cool. It's I mean, I was think too like I like a good bass tone matters because I think it's what it really brings out a guitar. You know,
Sure.
if you and you know a lot when I earlier when I said like I have great guitar tone, I have good guitar tone because we have good bass tone to be honest. So
Yeah.
that's what I think it is.
And that's the first time I've listened to that one all the way through.
Mhm.
To be honest, because you know I tend to go back to Ignorance is Bliss and then I go back to Soul on Fire and I just But yeah, that one's gonna have to go. And I have different playlists for certain situations that in my life, like mowing the grass. I have some grass to mow around my house. It takes about some time, so I have a mowing playlist.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna put that one on my mowing playlist because I don't have any of your stuff on my mowing playlist yet. So I'll put that one.
Okay, that's cool.
Now my shower playlist is also the anytime playlist. Not necessarily the shower. It could be something that I have playing when the guest jumps on and I'm not on here yet.
Right.
Soul on Fire is on that one.
Yeah.
And then there's a newly discovered playlist, which is things that are like, after a couple months, I'll start taking things off that have been on there, and that's where Ignorance is Bliss is.
Awesome.
And those are just personal playlists. Of course, I share them with my, I'm on Apple Music, so I share them with all my friends that I have on Apple Music, and they can see that. But I'm thinking about doing a monthly thing, and just, because I know people are on Spotify and stuff, but if I post who's on my playlist on Apple, they can find it wherever.
Yeah.
Usually, so I'm thinking about doing like but I hate doing that because if I do a top 10 or top 20, I don't want to leave anybody out. People feel bad, and then it's like it turns into like a little kid's birthday party that you weren't invited to.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, if it's a monthly thing, it can rotate.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly, and that, maybe when I'll have the Chat GPT do it or something.
Yeah.
She said, Kelly says that song takes you on a journey, and it really does. That's what it feels like. And it's probably the 6/8 in it that makes it feel like that.
Yeah, we've heard that before. I remember there was a radio station in the UK that played Soul on Fire, I think it was, and they actually had a very similar comment, and it's just I don't know, we like adding different parts of music to like different genres.
It's terrific. It's terrific.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, let me ask you some weird questions that have nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Shoot.
Well, see, I used to talk about. I used to have this segment used to be called the Wiener segment. So you kind of you got past that, but it was about hot dogs.
Okay.
I did that for a year and a half, and it got old, so I quit doing that. And then this one formed from the landmark segment that I had. I would just ask people, are there any like stupid statues in your city that you don't think that are really that unique because you live there, And that was good for a while, but then it just kind of fell off. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna ask dumb questions. So that's where we're at.
Okay.
This is not a would you rather question, but it's a pretty good question. What's the manliest thing you think you've ever done?
The manliest
thing, yeah.
Oh God.
That you thought you were just the man, And this might be a question we need to go back to because sometimes it takes people, but we have time, so it's fine.
I might have to. I don't know. I work in a trade, so I feel like every day is a very manly thing.
What do you do if you don't mind saying?
I'm an industrial mechanic. I'm a millwright.
Okay, you're a millwright. Okay.
Yeah.
What type of industrial things do you fix?
So I'm part of the local union here. So
Okay.
it depends where I'm working, but currently I work in mostly oil and gas refineries.
That's what we have all around here. That's the industry I work in also.
Yeah. Sarnia's full of them. We're called Chemical Valley. So
Okay,
yeah.
but not for like pollution reasons, though, right?
Maybe back in the day. I don't know about
Yeah.
anymore. So
You don't want any of these tree huggers. Well, that's manly. Like, just is that what you're going for? Like, that's the manliest thing?
I mean, probably. I don't
I'd say
know.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
You have big wrenches you use and things.
Yeah.
Big,
Yeah.
those big pipe wrenches. Yep,
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
This is kind of all right. What's the most elaborate lie you've ever told to cover for a friend, or maybe to cover for yourself? Most elaborate lie.
Oh, it was for myself. I worked like when I was younger, I worked at this call center and I absolutely fucking hated
I've
it.
done that too. Yeah.
So I called in and I told them that my grandmother died, so I didn't have to go to work. And then they're like, "Okay, well, you got to bring in an obituary for proof." I'm
Oh,
like,
son, don't tell me you wrote
"Yeah,
one up. You wrote
no,
one
I
up.
didn't." I was just like, "Oh, okay," and
Just to
then
go back.
yeah, and I just went back to work. So
So they didn't. No questions.
no questions.
But she's alive. Is she still alive?
No, she passed away a couple
Yeah.
years ago, but this would have been. Uh,
But it worked, right?
Well, no, it didn't work.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. Did you ever tell her that you did that?
No,
I don't think she would have cared.
I think actually you're the first person I've told that to.
She would have been like, "Attaboy," you know?
Yeah.
That's what I would have done if I was a grandma. Okay, what's the one thing you're secretly terrible at that everyone assumes you're good at?
Playing guitar.
Really? No.
Oh yeah. No, I mean that. Like I don't know. Like you're always your own worst critic. But
Critic,
like
yeah, that's true.
I don't know. Like I watch these other guys play or these other people play, and I'm just like, fuck, I don't know what I'm doing at all. And so
Well, you have your own style.
sure, it's something like that.
That's what I tell people. I just have
Yeah.
my own style. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's called acoustic guitar.
Right.
I cannot play electric guitar. I bought several and I end up selling them because I just cannot.
Really?
I'm a strummer. I strum.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And you can strum electric to a certain
Sure.
extent, but
Yeah.
I can't chunk, and that's what our band is. Rob does a lot of chunking. And
Yeah.
it's very low. Anyway, I just let the experts do it.
Mhm.
Okay, this is the last one before we get into the would you rather's. What's the strangest food combination you secretly enjoy? Like we had a guy that liked ketchup on Doritos on the show once.
Ketchup on Doritos.
Yeah, and I don't. No, it wasn't ketchup. It was cottage cheese on Doritos.
Oh, I've never.
Cottage cheese is just gross by itself. So I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
You have anything strange like that?
Strange. I had one time I had an egg sandwich and I had peanut butter on it. It was actually pretty good.
That is strange. I can't.
It was actually really good now that I think about it.
Were you stoned?
No, not at all. No, no,
You think or drunk or something?
no.
kind
I
of
was
effect.
neither. No, I was neither. I think I actually did it not too long ago again because it was pretty good.
And you'll probably do it tonight. Now you're talking about it, right?
Maybe not tonight. It's a little bit late, but maybe this weekend.
It's never too late for an egg and peanut butter sandwich.
Sure. It wasn't just peanut butter. There was ketchup on there too. It was actually really good.
Okay, ketchup and peanut butter don't sound good together.
No, it's disgusting if you think about it. But it actually turned. It was.
So you have to
really
be in a
good.
kind of a mood. Then it sounds like, or
Yeah,
on
breakfast
something.
mood.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just. But I like mayonnaise on my egg sandwiches.
I've had that before. Mayonnaise and hot sauce, like Frank's or something.
But Miracle Whip, not regular mayonnaise. I don't know if you guys. I'm
Yeah,
sure
we have Miracle Whip here.
They call it salad dressing, but it's mayonnaise. It's mayonnaise. Everybody knows it's mayonnaise.
Yeah.
But mayonnaise and Miracle Whip do taste completely different. Miracle Whip's
Yeah.
tangier,
Right.
But okay, while we're on ketchup, so Pittsburgh is like an hour and a half, 2 hours from me north.
Yeah.
And of course that's the birthplace of Heinz ketchup. Are you a Heinz ketchup person, or are you a Hunt's, or is there a Canadian brand that you enjoy that you want to tell the world about?
Yeah.
I got freaking hated on for saying I didn't like Heinz.
Yeah. So when like growing up, we always had Heinz ketchup.
Yeah.
And then we in Canada there's a brand called French's.
French's, yeah, like they make mustard.
Yeah. So they also
That's the
make
best one.
ketchup. And I remember my wife switched to French's because Oh, why
Dun,
was
dun,
it?
dun. I need
It
that
was
thing.
something. My wife's in a union as well, and it was something like a union thing, like Heinz did a big layoff or something. I don't know if that's what it was. It was something
You
like
have to,
that.
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we have Frenches in Canada, and I think that's what we use. I don't know.
I'm sure they have the French's ketchup here. I mean, they have the mustard on every shelf,
Probably, yeah,
so
yeah.
I'll pick it up next time and let you know. I'll make a clip or something. Would you rather? Okay, these are would you rather questions. Would you rather always smell like a skunk or have a permanent wedgie? And you have to pick one. There's no right answer. I know that's a tough one.
That's a weird
They get
question.
tougher from here, so that's an easy one.
I like when you say always have a wedgie, do you mean like 24 hours a day?
All the time, and it's the worst one you've ever had.
Oh fuck.
And it's the worst skunk you've ever smelled like. So they're both horrible situations. But if you had to, if you were, I guess, if at gunpoint and had to pick,
I pride myself on smelling fantastic
so
like
you're
all
gonna go
the
with
time.
wedgie.
So yeah, I would go with that.
Okay, all right. Well, it's not real life, so you know whatever.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh well, no, I don't want. Okay, would you rather sweat glitter or fart confetti? And those would be good for live show situations also.
Probably sweat glitter. Yeah.
See, I mean, if I was to answer one of these, I would have to go with the farting because glitter gets on everything and it stays on everything forever. It seems like people send like a greeting card,
Yeah.
like a birthday card or
Yeah.
something, and
It
it's got
does.
glitter, little bit of glitter. Or Christmas cards is the worst thing, and it's got a little bit of glitter on it, but all of a sudden it's on your fingers for like a week.
I think people like glitter more than they like confetti though.
Well, they're gonna have to like confetti because that's what I'm going with.
Yeah.
That's what personally, but glitter, okay, all right. Let's see. Okay, this is more of a serious one. Would you rather lose all of your memories or never be able to create new ones?
Oh,
Yeah, this is
that's a good one.
toss-up.
I would probably rather never be able to create new ones. I think.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always think of it like this. It's what people if they had a bad past, they'll pick the other one.
Yeah.
And if they had but it's different for everybody. I love that question though because do you want to say why? You don't have to,
Well, I don't. Well, I think you learn from your past. Really, there's that. I also have a little 4-year-old girl, so
there you go.
I mean, it would be really hard to not make new memories with her, but I think up until this point, like there's a lot of good memories I've had with her, so that's
Sure.
probably why. Yeah.
Awesome. I like that answer. I like that. Good dad right there, folks.
Yeah.
Kelly, oh, you're married, so never mind. I'm a cat dad. That counts. How about a music question? Okay. Since I mentioned cat, would you rather that your instrument could only play polka music, or every time you sang, you sounded like a cat meowing? It's kind of a goofy question, really, but
I think maybe
that's an AI question, by the way.
Yeah. Maybe the polka music, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because at least it's music, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, since these are like in a weird way, they're leading right into the next one. Would you rather have perfect pitch but no sense of rhythm, or perfect rhythm and no sense of pitch? That's tough for a musician.
Yeah, it's kind of. I think it depends what you do. I think if you're a singer, you'd probably rather have perfect pitch. But if you play an instrument, you'd probably have.
Either way would be completely awful for what you don't
Right.
have.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
we'll skip that one if you want
Yeah.
to.
Okay. Sure.
Let's
skip it.
Let's skip that one. We'll have Kelly answer that one. She's laughing in the chat, by the way. I don't want to get to the raunchy one yet. Everybody gets the one question that I am going to ask you, but I always ask it at the end, but everybody gets it. Okay, here's a good one. Would you rather have to give up creating music for the rest of your life or give up listening to music for the rest of your life? I'm pulling out all the hard ones for you.
Oh,
You're good at
God.
this. We're almost done.
We're
We're almost done, so you're.
It's either give up music, making music, or give up listening to music.
Let's see. Where'd it go? Yeah, that's what it is.
I
Yeah,
think.
creating
Uh,
or listening.
I think creating. I would rather give up creating because I wouldn't be able to create music if I wouldn't be able to listen to it. Like like all the music I've
Sure.
listened to is what's influenced me. So
Makes
yeah.
sense. My mom texted me and she said, "Great music."
Oh.
She doesn't do the chat. She texts me. I used to use my phone as the camera. Now I have a camera,
Oh
but
yeah.
but she would know that my camera is up on the tripod and I cannot answer her text, but she would text me anyway. So funny. There's a chat right there. Yeah. Okay, one more music question, then we'll get into the raunchy one, and then we'll be done. Um, would you rather be known for one incredibly influential album that no one understands in its time, or have a string of moderately successful but forgettable hits?
The first one.
Why's that?
A very successful album that no one understands. I don't know. Are you a Radiohead fan? That's what
I
comes to
am. I am. Yes.
that's what came
Yes.
to mind when you said that.
That makes yeah. Makes
Like
sense.
OK Computer or something like
Yeah.
like I don't know. That album's been out for what 25 years, if
And
not
nobody
longer.
understands it.
Nobody
Yeah.
understands it, and look
But
how
it's
good it is.
phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what
I've
I
never
would go
thought of
with.
that. That's hilarious. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love Radiohead.
they're great.
I used to cover. I used to do. I was the. I used to go to open mics all the time and play my acoustic guitar and sing and I'd always do covers for the most part. But I always do '90s covers.
Mhm,
But I would always do the ones that nobody else did.
mhm.
Always everybody always played the same ones. But I'd do Chevelle. Like
Yeah,
it's not really
yeah,
a '90s cover, but I'd do Chevelle and Rage,
yeah,
and do it in an acoustic format. And
yeah,
a lot of Radiohead. Yeah, yeah. Radiohead's fun to play.
yeah. They're great.
Okay, here's the question that everybody gets. This is what we'll end with. Would you rather have dicks for fingers or never be able to taste anything ever again? I don't know why it's that either or, but that's what it is. And that's not an AI question either. That's a previous guess.
Dicks for fingers or never be able to taste anything again.
I'm waiting. Yeah.
I think I don't know. I mean,
Kelly, you can answer
uh,
this one too if you want.
like I would want to taste things again, and like I personally wouldn't care if I had dicks for fingers. But I think anybody that I came to contact might, like coworkers that have to shake my hand, they might.
Oh, they
Uh,
might love it though. You
they might love it. My
might make
wife,
new friends.
yeah, my wife might love it. I don't know,
Maybe
but
not if they're limp all the time though.
right. I don't know. That's a good. I'd probably go with. Oh God, I don't know.
I'm waiting for the answer because and I'll tell you why in a minute. But go ahead.
Uh,
I'm not trying
I
to
don't
influence
know.
your decision in one bit. I'm just saying. Just say it. You want the dicks.
I I probably would go with that actually.
Everybody goes with that
Yeah.
answer, and I think why is because the other the or is not a very good or up against the dicks for fingers. You know what I mean?
It's not, no. And
And
I
but
mean,
that's a previous guest asked that question. Because at the time I was doing ask a question for the next guest, but I quit doing that because it got too confusing for me. But that was his question for the next guest, and
yeah.
then it started from there. And now everybody gets it, but everybody, not everybody, but the majority of the people pick the dicks for fingers. It's so fun.
Yeah.
I think I need a stronger or.
Yeah. Well, everything's associated with smell and taste, right? So
Yeah,
there's a lot. I don't
and
know.
feel though.
That's true. That is true.
I've gotten into 20-minute conversations about this question before, like about like asking like extensions to the question. Like, well, what if they're limp? Are they limp all the time? Can I still play
Yeah.
the guitar? Like things like that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what I always say is, just think of it as a normal one, but you have 10 of them, and say they are limp. All you have to do is go buy some Cheetos, and when you're done eating Cheetos, you get the cheese. You lick them, and then I'm just saying, that's
yeah.
that's what I think about. That's how this mind thinks.
That's different. I would just probably wash my hands after.
You wouldn't. Well, I mean, what if you needed them? Okay, we won't get into that. What ifs?
Yeah.
All right, one more question. And my buddy down in Austin, Texas, we've never met in person. He's also a label mate of yours, but he's on Metal Inc.
Okay.
Mark from Like Sorrow, and he co-hosts with me a lot now. So he came up with this one. Would you rather eat ice cream that tastes like shit, or eat shit that tastes like ice cream? And then we'll wrap it up. That's just the way. That's him. And he's got worse ones than that.
I think you'd probably want, like, I think most people would want to eat shit that tastes like ice cream. What I think.
Why would you want to? Yeah.
Right.
But then you're going to be sitting there, say you're with a group of friends and you're the only one that ordered the shit. But you're enjoying it, you know what I mean?
I guess, but that's because you ordered it because you know it tastes like ice cream.
Exactly.
So,
Smart man right there.
Yeah.
Hey, make sure you send me your snail mail. I'm going to send you up some stuff. I got some temporary tattoos for your forehead or wherever, your tramp stamp, if you want to do that. And I got some regular stickers. These are red. I like the red ones better. I don't know.
Cool.
I don't have any more of the yellow ones. I do have a limited run of these since it's the 5-year anniversary. I made a 5-year logo, so it's basically that same yellow logo with a 5 kind of faded. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh yeah, I do see it now.
I just got these today, and the background is the same as the shirts.
Yeah,
probably look black, but they're actually like a dark navy blue.
Okay.
But I have a very limited amount of these 5-year stickers, but I will send you some of these.
Awesome.
And one more thing about me, and then I'll let you plug your stuff and where everybody can find you. I have another show this week. This will be the third show this week, but I'm excited because it'll be episode 350 on Saturday at 3 o'clock with Lost Sanity from Germany. And they are, I got them through a guy that does like reaction videos. And I had him on my show, and we talked. Let's Go Craigo is his name.
Okay.
But I will send you the stuff for Crave Rock Radio, so you can submit yourself and get on some our radio stuff. But yeah, tell the folks. I'll mute my mic, and so I don't interrupt you, and just tell everybody where they can find you, what's coming up, all that stuff.
Yeah. So we're on all social media. Look up Circle the City. We are on all streaming platforms, Circle the City with 2 Ys. What's coming up? We have a new single that's going to be released August 17th, I think it is. I just got the master back today and turned it in a little bit late, but that's okay. That's coming out. And then October is going to be another single that will be our last single of this year. But when that one drops, we're going to release 2 other songs. So it'll be like an EP, 5-song EP, I guess, total. Yeah, other than that, music, and I don't know, hopefully people book us to play somewhere.
Yeah.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So nothing scheduled live for like people that may live.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, locally we are playing a festival called Fool Fest in our hometown. It's a free show. It's on August 1st. It's put on by Refined Fool Brewery. That's a tough word to say for me. I don't know why.
It is kind of tough. I'd struggle with that too.
Yeah. We're playing another show. Then we're in Windsor on August 8th, and August 15th, I think we're in Guelph, Ontario.
Guelph?
Yeah, Guelph.
Spelled the way it sounds?
How do you think it's spelled?
GWELPH or F? I don't know.
It's GUELPH.
The Canadian version of
Yeah.
Or French. It would be more French, I guess. I don't know. Is there a lot of French around your area? Like a lot of French speaking? I know Canadians. That'd be like the second.
Yeah.
French.
I mean, there are French people in Sarnia. Not really. It's more, I think, like northern Ontario, and Eastern Ontario have a lot of French, or sorry, Northern Ontario and Eastern Canada have a lot of French-speaking communities, and then out west, I'm not exactly sure. I think
I took French in middle school. I don't know if you guys have middle school, like elementary, 7th and 8th grade.
Yeah, we call it high school.
Yeah. So yours is 7 through 12.
No, ours is 9 through 12.
Yeah, that's what so our middle school is just like 7th and 8th. And I
Oh,
think
okay.
some places are like 7th, 8th, and 9th, and then
Oh,
but
our
anyway,
our our
yeah.
elementary schools are kindergarten through 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right. That's a little bit different.
yeah,
Yeah, so like in our middle school, we had to take, I think it was either Spanish or French as a, just extra thing. I took
yeah.
French.
Oh,
So
did
I
you?
can like we and no.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I used to be able to do like count to 10. I don't do that. I can't remember that one. But it's like parlez-vous would be like something to speak or something, right? Can you speak French at all? Yeah,
No, I'm terrible. I hate French. I mean, sorry, I don't hate French.
well, yeah, I know, yeah.
I hated French when I was in
You like
high
the
school.
ketchup at least, you know.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't really speak it at all.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Well, can you speak any languages at all other
Um,
than English?
not really.
So I can't
No,
hit you up to be co-host on any foreign shows then.
unfortunately, no.
Like the German one on Saturday would be.
No.
Thankfully, they speak in English and they sing in English, and
Yeah,
I tend to
yeah,
lean more towards those bands. I've had a
yeah.
bunch of bands in Finland. That was actually the first foreign band I had on was Finland, and their music scene's terrific. But they all sing in English, and that's badass.
Are
Well,
they?
all but one. I had one band that didn't sing in English, and they were kind of a little bit more difficult to interview, but it still went fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, are they metal bands over there mostly?
A lot of them are. I did have a shoegaze band on,
Oh yeah,
called My Favorite Nemesis, I believe.
oh yeah.
It's them. And of course, I've had like an extreme metal band called I'm Your God, and they were from Santa Claus, Finland, which is way at the top.
Oh yeah.
The town's actually called Santa Claus, and it's Santa Claus all the time, like all year long. And they could
Our
sing.
our current that song "Animals" is actually doing well in Finland right now. So
Nice.
there's a lot of
I'm gonna
streams.
push it. I'm gonna push it for you a little bit. I
I
don't have
appreciate
much
that.
to do, but
Yeah,
yeah, request it on Crave Rock. He'll play it for you. I'm sure.
yeah. I wrote that down, so I will
Yeah,
definitely.
it's Crave with a K, but I'll send
Oh,
you.
okay, okay,
I'll send you his Instagram and stuff, and hit him
okay.
up.
Cool,
He's really cool guy.
awesome.
Yeah, I'll be back Saturday at 3 with Lost Sanity from Germany, and then I don't maybe Rat Silo on Tuesday. I don't know. Maybe if you know them, your label mates, just hit them up and be like, listen, I was just on the show and it was badass.
Yeah,
Get your info over there. So
I actually don't know them, but I know who they are.
they're
I know
badass.
of them. Yeah.
I've been wanting to have them on for a while, and I think they were working on because they just released some new stuff, and anyway, so I may have them on Tuesday, but I don't want to say too much. And then at the end of the month, I had on July 27th, which is the anniversary of the show, which would be the 5-year anniversary of the show. Having two bands be the second time I've done this. Two bands called Two Band Banger.
Okay.
And these are two bands that I've had on previously, and they don't know each other. They live in separate states. Public Figures from Omaha, Nebraska, and Arcwave is from Fort Collins, Colorado, and they will be on at the same time, and we'll celebrate and talk about what they've been up to since they've been on the show, and they've been doing very well, both of them, and I kind of wanted to feature two bands like that.
Cool.
So we'll do that on the 27th at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then we're doing a live show here in my hometown of Clarksburg, which is right down the road from me. A live show with my bands playing, Reign of Z, Dream the Heavy, Amplifiers. Those are Pittsburgh bands, very good bands. Bo McMillian, which is playing bass with us. He's also playing that show. He's like a live loop artist, like solo singer-songwriter. And my friend Harmon, his band The Hated will be there, and Dale J. Gordon, which was the first guest on this show back in 2020. He's coming up from Nashville to play live. So that's August the 2nd. Doors are at 6, shows at 7, or Doors are at 5, shows at 6. I don't know. It's on the freaking. You'll see it on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. I can't remember I need an assistant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kelly,
Chat GPT.
Kelly, I'll get Kelly. She's pretty savvy.
Okay.
Hey, Kelly, hit me up. Well, thanks for being on, man. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Tell the rest of the folks in the band that I said hello, and to come on next time when you guys come on, come back.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Sorry not everybody could be here, but
It's okay. We'll whip them into shape, and we'll ask them even raunchier questions next time.
they'd like that. I think.
That's drummers usually enjoy.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
If you have like 5 minutes, I'll give you a formal goodbye after I kill the live stream here in a
Yeah.
second.
Absolutely.
We're gonna end the show with the band that I've had on twice on the show. Very cool guys. Just two of them in the band. The drummer sings, and the other guy just plays guitar, and somebody covers the bass. I don't know, a Ghost or something. But they're called Off Season. Check them out. The song's called Faceless. We'll listen to that. I will see everybody on what's today? On Saturday. I'll see everybody on Saturday at 3 p.m. with Lost Sanity. Have a great night.